What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and today I've got a subscriber story that was sent in about a spoiled rich kid getting destroyed, which, you know, obviously is a classic on the channel, so I knew I would talk about it. Regardless, you know, I figured it would be something that y'all would enjoy. It's about somebody that ends up getting destroyed by their own stupidity, which is even better. So, yeah, before we get into it, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam whatsoever. You're going to be in the middle of an earthquake and you don't want that to happen, so press like and let's get into it. Alright, so the person who sent this in went to a normal school, you know, not a private school or anything. Most of the kids around him were pretty normal. Nobody was really that entitled and crazy, except for one super rich kid who we're gonna call Braxton. Braxton's dad was super important in town, you know. He basically owned a bunch of buildings. People basically had to lease the buildings from him in order to run their businesses, so being on his good side helped you. And as usual, whenever somebody's the kid of somebody who's important and kind of has to be treated well, Braxton turned into a bit of a jerk. It's just kind of what happens when somebody feels like, oh, nobody can be mean to me. They just push it further and further until they become like the spoiled rich kid. But, you know, he wasn't the type of kid who was constantly reminding people about how rich he was. He didn't even have to do that. It was kind of a situation where people just kind of unspokenly knew that he was going to stay out of trouble, and all the adults just kind of agreed that his dad was important and they didn't want to be on his bad side. He didn't really know why he got special treatment, he just did. And he would kind of dare people to punish him just to kind of see what would happen, and nobody ever would. And he also really liked to bully people, but like not in a fun way. You know, I love to make fun of people. I know that we all do. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've never done it. But it's not dope to like pick on people who can't defend themselves, you know, people who are minding their own business. Usually if somebody's like on a television show or something, they clearly want the public to see them. But if somebody was minding their own business, he would kind of like go up and just boom, slap on people for no reason that are minding their own business and don't really deserve it. And beyond that, he would just like constantly interrupt class, you know. Everybody loves jokes, don't get it wrong, but like he would leave, bring 10 kids in that weren't in the class and just like have a little meeting with them. He basically just did whatever he wanted and he was spoiled as hell, so nobody ever really did a single thing about it. Homie just kind of had free range of whatever he wanted, dude. One day, though, there was a new teacher that ended up coming into school. She was from a different county, a different place. She didn't really know Braxton or his dad. And Braxton got put into this class. And he didn't really know what was going on. He didn't know who the teacher was gonna be. He thought it was just gonna be like a teacher that was already at the school that was gonna get shifted over to his class. So if he showed up late or kind of did whatever he wanted, they would already know the arrangement. As I said, it was just kind of an unspoken thing. But he walks into this class 20 minutes late, and this teacher, not really knowing or caring who he is kind of like, well, it's nice of you to join us. Why were you 20 minutes late? And Braxton kind of like rolls his eyes a little bit. He can't believe anybody would have the nerve to ask him while he's late. And he's like, I just really didn't feel like coming, to be honest. And the teacher kind of has to stop for a minute and kind of like take in what he just said. She can't really believe that he said it. And she's like, okay, well, who do you think you are to just be able to act like that? Everybody else was on time. Who do you think you are to like be here and not have to come on time? And Braxton kind of like smugly smiles and goes, and says his dad's name, Son. And while he's used to people being like, oh, okay, never mind, just have a seat, this teacher, you know, didn't really know who that was, so she didn't have a reaction whatsoever. And he's used to people backing down at this point. But because she's from out of town, she has no clue who he was. So he just repeats the same sentence again. And he goes, I'm the son of da-da-da. And she goes, okay, you already said that. I don't care. And when she says, I don't care, you know, Braxton's eyes kind of bulge out of his head a little bit, dude. You can tell he's getting frustrated. And, you know, instead of, like, just calming down and just apologizing because he realized he could get in trouble, he decides to get snarky instead, which is never the good approach when the person just told you that they don't care and they're gonna punish you the exact same way. This person's not gonna let you get out of jail free, bro. This is not someone that owes your dad anything. And he says, my dad owns the house you rent. I come late, and if I want to, it's no problem. Which is just like the brattiest thing to say, bro. Okay, all right. Why would you even say that in the first place? Even if, let's say your dad does own the house that someone is renting, you do realize that they've signed a contract and, you know, he really can't do anything about it. Like, he can't raise their rent tomorrow. He can't, you know, turn off their electricity. There's plenty of stuff in place to protect him, and beyond that, it also means that this person is keeping your lights on in a way, because your dad needs them to be paying for that rental property for it to be making money. So that's not even a good flex in the first place, and there's just no reason to do it, bro. It's just a super douchey thing to say. Like, there's just no reason to do that. But the teacher was not having any of that either. Obviously, knowing that this kid was just like testing her, trying to see how far he could push it, she decides to smack that down right now. Plus, beyond that, the comment was just rude. She had every right to respond with some sass, you know? So the teacher is basically the first person to ever stand up to this dude. So she says, I don't really care who your dad is. And if he thought that that was going to be able to make him come late, then that was wrong with that. And he's been assigned a 5-page apology due tomorrow because he clearly does not understand how this is going to work. And obviously, everybody at that point is kind of in shock because it's the first time they've ever seen somebody be like, hey, dude, you really just can't treat people however you want. You have to respect me even if you don't like me because I'm your teacher. That's just how it is. Deal with it. So they're all kind of there like, oh crap, okay, it's actually going down. Someone's standing up to him. But Braxton, no, he didn't like the sound of that. So he decides to look at the teacher and goes, no, I don't want to do that. So that's not going to happen. And the teacher, not going to back down either, goes, okay, well, I guess it's 10 pages. And it was like his mind was broken, bro. He just couldn't compute with the fact that somebody was going to stand up to him and actually make him do work. So he decides at that point he's just going to commit to it. And the whole spoiled rich kid thing is like, you know, just going to ooze out of him like something gross coming out of a slug, dude. It just has to come out. I've never really seen anyone pull off the whole, my dad is da-da-da-da-da and we're rich and like actually keep their street cred or like actually keep the ability to be respected. It's just an unlikable thing to do. But anyways, he decides to commit to it regardless of how bad it's going to affect him. And he looks at the teacher and kind of says, rules are for stupid poor people and I'm not one of them. Which is a ballsy statement there, bro. Rules are definitely for everybody regardless of how stupid or poor you are. Like, even if you are the dumbest poor person on the planet, you kind of do have the same rules as someone who's really smart. And at that point, the teacher has had enough of it, dude. Like, it's one thing to be disrespectful. It's another thing to be like, rules don't apply to me because I'm rich and smart, which A, just isn't true, and B, even if you think that's true, you really can't say that while you're fighting with the teacher, because at that point, the teacher is definitely not gonna just let it slide. Oh, you're right. Oh, my bad. How dare I try to punish one of my rich students? And she says that it's gonna be a 15-page apology, and she's going to be calling his father. And as soon as she says that she's gonna be calling his dad to let him know about everything that has just gone down, he goes from like, rules don't apply to me because I'm rich, to like, oh please no dude, please don't call my dad. Oh dude, please no. And even though he's begging this teacher not to call his dad, she's like, okay, yeah, it doesn't matter what you say or how much you plead right now. Everything that you just did, like, I'm gonna have to call him and just let him know how you're behaving. Clearly the only person you respect is your dad if you're that afraid of me giving him a call, and this needs to be something that gets fixed, so I'm gonna give him a call and we're gonna fix this. And he's just like, oh my god, freaking out about it. He is literally begging her not to call him, to the point where he's on his hands and knees, like groveling like a sick dog, like, oh please don't tell him, please. And she's holding strong about it. She's like, I'm going to call your dad, all right? You can get off the floor, please. Like, get off the floor. Come on, this is just embarrassing and sad. Like, get up. This is embarrassing. And for the rest of the class, they're just, like, sitting there awkwardly because it had taken up an enormous amount of time, like, too much time to start the lesson. So the class ends and, like, everybody flies out of there. And he kind of starts walking up to the desk to try to talk to her again. And she's like, no, get out. Like, get out. You're not negotiating with me. Go. And the rest of the day after that, dude, there's rumors flying around about it. Some people say that, like, he threw a desk. Some people are saying that his dad was in the classroom and he fought with the teacher and she kicked both of them out. Everybody was, like, theorizing that she was gonna get fired, though. Nobody had ever punished him before, and the way that he talked about his dad was like, oh yeah, he's gonna defend me no matter what, you know? And everybody just assumed at that point that the dad was gonna come in and be like, this teacher needs to go. The fact that she would disrespect my son is beyond belief. But thankfully, it was basically the opposite of that situation. You see, the reason he was afraid of his dad finding out about this, and like especially afraid of the teacher calling, was because the dad wasn't really aware of what his son was doing at school by like flexing his name and saying that he was gonna keep him out of trouble. Like, he had no clue that any of that wasn't going on. In reality, I guess his dad was a super nice guy who was very, very unhappy about what went down and decided that his son had to be taught a lesson, which, thank God, you know, very rarely rarely happens. 9 times out of 10 in these situations, the parent does come to save their kid and get them out of trouble, and then, like, they don't actually learn anything from it. Hey, but this guy was like, nah, you're not gonna use the fact that we got money to get out of trouble and treat people badly. So he decided to embarrass him instead. Like, just embarrass him, commit to him actually learning something from this. And he decides that he's gonna come to school with his son all day and, like, follow him from class to class, meet all of his teachers, have a meeting with them, you know, meet all of his friends, introduce himself to all of his classmates. Which is basically a goat way of, like, embarrassing your kid, you know. Alright, you want to act cool at school and use me as a flex to get out of trouble? Well, then I'll just come to school with you and no one's gonna think you're very cool after that because you're gonna eat lunch with your dad. How about dem apples? Obviously, Braxton was not very okay with this, you know, but he didn't really have a choice. His dad was like, nah, it's happening. I don't really care what you say about it. It's going to occur either way. Alright guys, I'm gonna interrupt the video for just 1 second. On screen now is a PlayStation gift card. For those of you that don't know, I give one of these away in every single upload here on the channel as a way to say thank you to those of you that are subscribed with notifications on. So if you haven't already, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you never miss another video. And if you already have them on, then big thank you. You guys help out the channel a bunch and I really, really appreciate it. And on that note, I'll shut up and let's get back to the video. Thanks. That's right, the next day when everyone walks into class, Braxton is there on time, you know, which everyone is very surprised by, and his dad is sitting there next to him. You know, he doesn't seem too happy at all. He's looking at the ground, a big frown on, but his dad is like, hey everybody, nice to meet you, I'm Braxton's dad. He's literally asking everybody what their names is, who their parents are, because he's lived here for a while, like the whole shebang. He's being incredibly nice to everybody, and everybody is shocked by this because Braxton had made it seem like his dad was like basically the meanest man on the planet. If someone would even look at him funny, he was going to evict their family, but no, he's cool as hell, bro. Like, he really tried to make this dude look all Scrooge McDuck when he was actually, you know, I don't know, someone really nice who's also really rich. Anyways, the teacher comes into class smiling at the situation, and, like, before they start, basically does this announcement. Now, class, before we start, Braxton has something to share. And he, like, gets up grumbling, you know, and his dad, like, pushes him forward towards the front of the class and tells him to speak up, you know, and is like, no whispering or, you know, we'll make you do it again. Very seriously, you know, get it out. And he starts reading this apology essay to everyone, dude. I guess his dad had not only made him write the essay, but he added 5 pages to the 20 pages of the apology, man. This guy had basically not done work at all at this point, so I'm sure his hand had to have been cramping with the wrath of 1,000 suns when he had to write like a 25-page essay. And the entire letter, dude, is basically him just apologizing for everything he's done in that class that year, like all the disrespect he's done towards the teachers. It was basically a big self-roast. At one point, he said, like, I'm sorry for flexing my dad's hard work on others. I understand his accomplishments are not my own. Just, like, basically apologizing to his classmates, everything. It was brutal, man. I guess after 25 pages, you've got to be apologizing for some pretty specific things. Either way, though, he actually read it to the class, so, you know, kudos to him. And after he finished, him and his dad got up and left. And, like, one kid raised his hand and asked where they were going, you know, and apparently his dad has called his teachers. And he had made him write an apology to every teacher, too, and they were gonna go read them in every one of the classes. So, you know, his dad was not messing around, dude. He really wanted his kid to learn his lesson and learn that, like, being nice and respecting people was the way to go, which was probably a pretty good way to make him stop flexing it, that's for sure. Definitely would be flabbergasted if he tried this strategy again, considering how big of an L it was this time. But, yeah, anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate you taking a quick second to scroll down a bit and press the like button. It helps the video do better. I'd really appreciate it. And if you've made it this far, be sure to comment the word poop down below just so I know how many people made it to the end. I would really, really appreciate it. You know, it helps the video do better. I can't lie. And other than that, if you haven't yet, subscribe, turn on notifications. I literally give away money, so you got nothing to lose. Use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout for a bit of a discount. Helps you out, helps me out. Literally, everyone's a winner. In the description down below, you can also find a link to the merch, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Be sure to get yourself some. And also, you'll find a link to the story times that I've uploaded on Spotify. There's a couple there. Feel free to go click on those. Check them out if you feel like listening on there. And yeah, on that note, guys, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And hopefully I'll see you guys all next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.